Continuing on with the Clone Wars and the Nightsister Witches arc, I hopped on over to the next episode on the list, Season 3, Episode 14, Witches of the Mist. As we know from the previous episode, Ventress has selected a male from her planet to replace her as Dooku's assassin. The assassin's name is Savage. We open up on Obi-Wan and some fellow Jedi talking to some clones about the dead Jedi from the previous episode. It's a mystery to them. The council is investigating their deaths and trying to figure things out. Obi-Wan says this isn't the work of a Sith or a Jedi, but an impulsive animal, a new threat. I'm glad they're getting into the mix now. They'll add a little variety to the back and forth bad guy stalemate that we've kind of seen and maybe uncover the plot that's going on. But I have a feeling that their investigation will lead to unintended consequences. By that I mean they'll probably discover Savage and maybe even kill Savage. But if they allowed Ventress's plot to unfold fully, then one of their biggest adversaries, Dooku, would be killed. I feel like there have been a few moments in this show where that has happened. Obviously, the Jedi feel as though they should get involved, and there's no question that they should. After all, 2 Jedi have been killed. It's their job to figure out what happened. But by interfering, they might end up inadvertently helping the Separatist cause. But who knows? Cut to Dooku and Savage. They're having a little lightsaber duel. I guess Dooku is kind of testing him. Dooku tells Savage that he has no technique, says he's sloppy. Dooku kind of sees this as a challenge. He's going to properly train Savage. Cut to Yoda and Mace Windu talking to Obi-Wan. They show Obi-Wan's surveillance footage of the Jedi massacre. Obi-Wan initially thinks that is Darth Maul in the footage. Yoda says nope, just the same species. So they task Obi-Wan with going to Dathomir to discover the source of the threat. Obi-Wan is like the Jedi's workhorse, it seems. Hey, who's gonna go? Just send Obi-Wan. Okay, I kind of dig it. He's bouncing around the galaxy, but once again, I just have a burning feeling that by sticking their nose into this matter, they'll spoil a plan, although dastardly, but a plan that could ultimately help the Republic's cause in the long run. I like the training sequences between Dooku and Savage, wax on, wax off. Until this point, I thought Savage's name was actually spelled S-A-V-A-J, and I just looked it up. His name is literally spelled Savage, S-A-V-A-G-E. His last name is Opress, Savage Opress, pronounced Savage Opress. I think Red Letter Media had a joke about some of the prequel era villain names and how kind of goofy they are. Captain Bad Guy, General Angry, something like that. This feels super silly too. Savage Opress, Savage Opress. Kind of goofy. Anyway, I do like the training sequence here. What Dooku says, what Dooku does. He's trying to anger Savage. He's trying to get Savage to use his anger to his advantage. I like this sequence for another reason as well. Now, I don't know the entire canon explanation for who can and who can't use the Force. I should probably know that. But over the past few decades, that explanation has changed here and there quite a bit. Maybe all of the Nightsisters and Night Brothers are kind of Force sensitive. Who knows? If that's true, that has slipped by me. But I like this. A warrior who doesn't seem to exhibit any ability in the Force at first, being trained to use it. Dooku sees Savage's abilities and sees his anger, and that is why he's training him. The Force flows through everything. After all, for me, I've never required a bloodline or midichlorian count. If someone is able to clear their mind, train, and have the ability and the patience and the determination to tap into the Force, they might not become a Jedi, they might not become a Sith, but they can take advantage of it to their best ability. Obviously, it's a rare thing, it's a rare quality, which it should be, but I kind of like it that way. Chirrut Imwe is kind of a good example, and Savage, not a Jedi, not a Sith, but someone who can be trained, who possesses the right qualities, is really appealing to me. Cut to Anakin and Obi-Wan landing on Dathomir. They come under attack by some Night Brothers. They try not to harm them. They're there for information. They don't want to start anything. Eventually, everyone calms down. They're told they need to talk to the Nightsister Mother. I like the pacing of this episode and the frequent cuts. We're often shown Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then we cut to Dooku and Savage. Just kind of paralleling 2 journeys, not lingering on any one location too long, checking in on both groups. I like how this is done. Dooku tells Savage to go to Toydaria. He wants Savage to bring the Toydarian king to him alive. So Anakin and Obi-Wan meet up with the Nightsister Mother. They tell her about the Dathomir mail. They try to get some information and answers out of her. She was hesitant at first, but she quickly gave them the information that they wanted. She gave them Savage's name and his location. I was a little surprised by how fast she provided the info. No fuss, no fight, no scheme. Unless this is all some kind of big ruse, I don't know. Unless she believes that she's sending Anakin and Obi-Wan to their death. But then again, just by telling them the name of the assassin is enough to completely jeopardize the Nightsisters' mission. And maybe if she actually told Anakin and Obi-Wan what this mission aimed to accomplish, they might have been a little hands off. That would have been interesting. When they're faced with the actual facts of what the Nightsisters are doing with Savage, they might have backed away a little bit and said, okay, I see what's going on here. We can let these people take out one of our biggest adversaries. That would have been interesting. So Mother tells Ventress that she has to put her plan against Dooku into effect now. There's no time to wait. I wonder how Ventress would have reacted if she found out that Mother went behind her back and kind of spoiled the operation in a way. We cut to Savage on Toydaria. He makes his way to the king, killing everyone in his path. When he has the king under his control, Obi-Wan and Anakin pop up and begin to fight Savage. It was a quick and fun little skirmish. Savage trashes their ship and is able to take the king, who he killed. This obviously pisses off Dooku. Dooku begins to shock Savage. Ventress pops up in the same room, and then Savage and Ventress attack Dooku. Anakin and Obi-Wan everybody's getting involved here. Anakin and Obi-Wan end up on the same separatist dreadnought. This moment was kind of silly to me, how easy it was for Ventress to get inside of Dooku's room, and how equally easy it was for Anakin and Obi-Wan to land inside of an enemy ship. No checks, no security, no shields. I understand the ship, but it was still kind of silly to me. Just fly in, hop out, see Dooku. The fight between Dooku, Ventress, and Savage was pretty intense. The entire time I was rooting for Savage just to get pissed off, snap out of it, and kill both of them. He's an unwilling pawn in all of this. He's under some kind of mind control. His actions are not his own. He has no autonomy. He is fighting someone else's battle, and when he started to kick both of their asses, releasing his rage and anger, I gave a little hell yeah. Come on, Savage, kick some ass. Ventress and Dooku escape. Obi-Wan and Anakin pop up in the room and begin to fight Savage, as Ventress and Dooku battle it out below. I really like the scene of Savage fighting in the hangar, overpowered, outmatched, allowing his rage to power him. I just feel bad for Savage. He didn't really seem to want to be a part of any of this, but a byproduct of him getting involved has been that his powers have been amplified and honed. He is now filled with anger and rage by being betrayed and brought into this battle that was not necessarily his to fight. I like Savage because he is turning into an agent of darkness. We can kind of see that process, but what fueled him was betrayal. In the end, everyone is able to escape the separatist ship. The final scene must have really punched everyone in the gut when they saw it live and in the moment when this episode first aired. For me, I knew Darth Maul appeared in the show, I just didn't know when. But to watch this episode when it first aired, I'm sure everyone was majorly taken aback, especially because there was kind of a tease, at least to me, that we would see Darth Maul in the first episode and earlier in the second episode. I thought Savage was going to be Darth Maul. I bet a lot of people thought that too, but that was kind of pushed down a little bit, and then boom, we find out that Maul is alive and that he lives in the Outer Rim. The mother shows Savage Darth Maul through her like crystal ball thingy. She never says the name Darth Maul, I don't think. And Savage never says Darth Maul either, so it's possible that he doesn't even know who he is or his story, which is interesting to me. Just because the audience has heard of all these characters in Star Wars doesn't mean that the people in Star Wars have ever heard of them. I like it. I'm pretty damn excited to see how all of this pans out. Savage being trained by Maul, Maul coming back into play, seeing what he's been up to, why he's in the Outer Rim. I'm really curious. I know I always say this, but I've never liked the idea of resurrecting characters in Star Wars that we see die in other material. It's always felt goofy and cheap to me. It's always felt like fan service in a major way. But that feeling doesn't interfere with the level of excitement and curiosity that I have for the rest of this arc. Curiosity is probably the best way to describe it. I'm really curious to see how Darth Maul will play into all of this and what he's been up to. On to the next episode. Hello Greedo, out.